Dude, doesn't that rip?
You're an idiot.
No, you're an idiot.
Welcome back, you big fucking pigs. It's the You're an Idiot podcast. I've got a special guest co-host today with me. We're live from Chicago, Lucas Zelnick.
Special guest. Sorry, trying to do my Osmonds.
Yeah, again.
Oh, Drago, you never let anyone be the guest or something mean. What is it? He's always says something kind of cutting to you.
Just so mean. He's so fucking mean.
Drago, never. You're too tall. Where does he hit you?
So Jeff legitimately says I'm bad at stand up,
okay.
and I shouldn't do stand up.
All right.
And then I say one thing about food stamps and we lose about 20 patrons.
Right off camera, you were telling me about this, and I was like, "Do you want to talk about it?" And you're like, "Nah, let's save it for the Patreon." Seconds into the main episode.
Yeah, sometimes you fuck up, everybody, but life is a journey.
Everyone fucks up. Drago fucks up. He shouldn't do stand up. How's that?
It's not bad.
It was fucked up to get into stand up because you're not equipped to do it.
Yeah, he says you're just going straight for the jugular. You're just not. No, you just don't have the.
You don't have what it takes.
Django.
No, for the record, I think Drago's a great comic. I think Jeff's a great comic. I think those guys are they're awesome, man.
I appreciate that, man. I'm glad this is by happenstance. Lucas, one of my best buds in the world, great comedian.
Yeah.
It's really glad to catch you in the Shy. When'd you get in?
I got into Chicago yesterday.
Yeah.
Tell you what, clean city. Bright,
dope city.
A lot of buildings, pretty. It's a pretty city.
Pretty city.
A lake. Lake view is nice.
It's a pretty city. Ugly people.
Ugly people, inconvenient, expensive Ubers that take a while to come, bad traffic. Everyone's dumber. Girls are fives. But besides that, the place rocks.
It's a lot of fives and sixes just doing their best.
Oh yeah.
A lot of corn-fed sixes who people with good bone structure, but they put a lot of bad decisions on them.
I agree with everything that you just said, except for that they have good bone structure.
Just weird noses.
Weird noses, protruding chins.
Yeah.
Bad teeth.
Sure.
I don't know if teeth counts as bone structure. I guess teeth are separate from bones.
I guess are teeth bones? Austin, can you look that up? Or do you even know?
I don't think teeth are bones. I think we can.
I'm just immediately putting Austin to work. He's just a fill-in producer.
Are teeth bones, actually?
Yeah, I guess I want to know that too.
No,
they are not bones.
They're not bones, folks.
But yeah, we're live here, and you know what? I want to address a couple things up top. Traveling stuff. Here's some things that I want to get off my chest here. First off, I had a thing that made my flight not unbearable, but it made the entire hour and a half kind of brutal. I was flying from New York to Chicago. Get to the waiting area at the gate. Guess who I see there? Actually, don't guess because I'm going to tell you. My fucking the first company I ever worked for, like a coworker that worked like diagonal from me. I saw him a decent amount.
Yep.
Old coworker. Here's the thing, and it's been if it was like 2 years removed from the job, we say what up. If it's maybe even 3 years removed from the job, we say what up. It's probably 7 years removed from the job. I don't know this guy. I don't fuck with this guy. I don't like this guy. I don't know. You don't exist to me.
Old coworker, I would say, is worse than an ex on a flight.
I love this take.
The amount of anxiety you feel, because here's the thing with an ex, right? The anxiety is like, we both know who we are. So there's no anxiety on that front. It's not like, is that?
You have to say hi with the ex.
You have to say hi, and you know each other so well.
Mm-hmm.
So it sucks that you're running into your ex, but you've been there before. You've been there before.
All up in there.
You know what to say. The coworker, first of all, my least favorite interaction on earth. Do I know you well enough that we're supposed to say hi?
Oh, buddy, this is what I went through.
The only thing worse than this, maybe, is an acquaintance from middle school.
Oh.
A middle school classmate?
Like a 15, 20 year. Yeah. Where you're just.
But even then, you have like this, you can reminisce.
There's even a little bit of the reminisce. There's a nostalgia to the, dude, middle school. It's been so long.
It's vintage.
Because with the middle school thing, you're not even expected to like You're not. There's not even like the expectation that you're supposed to run into each other. Or you're supposed to even be cordial or
it's
whatever.
so random.
Yeah,
we both got molested. You know,
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
We both. Yeah, 12 was just. It really is a thing where you're fucking. You're kind of. It's awkward, but the coworker.
Nothing
is
worse.
so bad.
Nothing worse.
So he saw
Nothing to
me,
talk about.
and we were both darting. We were both doing head stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The head stuff where we were like.
Well, the moment of decision is the first eye contact.
Yeah.
You hit the eyes, and that's where you go. You give the nod, or if you look away, even if it's instinctual, once you look away after first eye contact, you've made a solemn pact not to say hello.
Do you know what I think where me and him did a great job? Is that I think he clocked me first. So then when I clocked him, he knew not to look at me.
Ooh, that's good.
And I think this was a great, by the way, Kieran, if you're listening to this. If you're listening to
Do you think this guy's a fan, but he didn't want to say hi?
He's
the shyest fan of all time.
There's no chance. Well, there's no chance he's a fan. But if anyone knows him and hears this, he did a great job of walking to the gate. He clocked me because I was already sitting down. He clocked me. I look up. I see him. He's looking down while walking. That's when I knew he clocked me.
Yeah.
Because he was looking down like...
Why are you so shy? Why are you walking without looking where you're going?
Yeah.
Only one answer is because you know I'm up here.
He knows...
If you avert your eyes up, you got to see the big dog.
He knows I'm here.
Bark, bark.
Bark, bark. He looked down. So he did a great job. Then so he boards before me. He's probably doing great. Good for you, Kieran.
Yeah. Group 1, Kieran. Hope all those promotions were worth it. Now you're in group 1. Awesome, man.
So he knows, I think he knows potentially that I know. So he does so when I'm on the plane, like when I'm walking on like down the aisle or whatever, I do what he does. I look down the whole time.
Right.
So I can tell he might be scanning for me.
Right.
I let him scan for me while I look down.
You're boarding so late, you got to go back and forth by him to find overhead space for your carry-on.
Thank God, dude.
Was that in your mind where you're like, there better be overhead space?
If I was the guy who was like, excuse me.
Do you think you could put that jacket under the seat in front of you so I could get my away bag in there?
Excuse me, sir. You have two up here. I get one.
Sorry,
Excuse
I think the knapsack could go under the seat, and then that way I could make room for the rollerboard.
Yeah, don't make me call. If we have to get the flight attendant involved, I will. But you can just take your bag, and I can.
What was the company you guys worked at together?
It was a staffing company.
Okay,
in
so he's an
Chicago.
underachiever. Chicago staffing company. I mean, at least you had a side gig. You know what I mean? This guy just did that.
I was like, I took the first job that even found me out of. I like created a thing on Indeed or something like that, and like this random guy hit me up, and this company literally reached out to me and was like, "We'll give you salary this, da da da." And no, literally, that was my first job. I was like, I didn't care.
Your first job, they came to you.
Essentially, yeah.
Like a booty call?
Yeah.
You know, jobs don't typically ask people to work. No,
you have to. Usually you interview at like 10, 20 places.
You got to be pretty desperate.
So no. And in hindsight, I remember when I first started working, because all I wanted a gig where I could live in Chicago and do stand up at night. That's all I cared about. And I didn't. No offense to anyone out there that does this. I did not. I wouldn't have been good at it, but I did not want to wait tables. I didn't want to bartend. I feel like that's it's a night gig that is tough.
Bad for stand up. It's a night gig.
It's tough, and
on your feet too.
I just didn't really want to do that. So I just took any job, whatever. And I'm finding out, like, as I'm telling people, like that summer, like when I just graduated, like I'm like, oh, I'm here, and like people are like, that's like a brutal company to work for. Like they're like notorious for like overworking people, like that, like no PTO, like that.
You're like, they can't overwork me if I leave when it's time for me to do spots.
Yeah. I was just like, I just wanted.
So Kieran was getting worked like a dog.
Well, Kieran also, yeah.
No wonder he didn't want to look at you. You were the fucking one guy at the company that didn't get beat down by senior management.
I remember that I was like 6 months into this company, and I was doing so bad. I remember I had like because it was sales. So I had like a 2-month meeting and then like a 4-month meeting and then a 6-month meeting. And every couple months they were like, so like we usually keep people on for at least a year here, but just so you know, you're not doing great. Like, it was like I would get those.
Oh, dude, and each sales prospect you fucked up, one more stack of paper added to Kieran's desk. You know? Oh, Drago fucked up again. Kieran, you mind cleaning up after him? Sorry,
Yes.
he's at a stand-up show. Hey, Kieran, could you take on this account?
Right.
Kieran, sorry, one more account for you. Sorry, we can't offer you commission on those. That commission will go to Alex. He begins to resent you. He begins to hate you. He begins to follow you around, see where you're going.
I'm making more and more money while doing bad because Kieran is just in like a hellscape.
That flight wasn't an accident, bro. You got to watch your neck. He's looking down because he knows if he looks at you, you'll know that he's trying to attack you.
That's true.
Kieran's on your tail. What's Kieran doing now? You know his last name?
I think he's still at the same. I'm pretty sure he's at the same company. I want to give Kieran a shout out, by the way. If there's anyone in my life that is like 6 degrees separated from Kieran that hears this episode, I do want to say, okay, Kieran, I found out. I was doing so now I'm at this other. I work for another company. I'll get how I left in a second, but I go to this other company. That's
you
like
didn't get fired.
I quit. I quit. So what happened was
That's like some Office Space shit. You just didn't care enough to fail, so you ended up like kind of succeeding.
Well, the problem is they like the management. And like the upper man, like they like when I would hang out with them, they like really liked me, and they thought, and they were like, you have the interpersonal skills to really
Kieran at
be
home
good
on
at
a
this.
Tuesday. He's not even working, but senior management just likes him, so he gets every fucking opportunity.
It really was like I think they saw me as this like you're like doing like the former athlete thing, like whatever, like funny guy, whatever. Like they were like, you can nail this if you just give one fuck. But I was just like out getting hammered, like doing stand up, whatever. So a comic that I knew was working at a company that he was saying was like it was a more relaxed situation, and it was in sales. So I was like, let me get in on that. I interview there, I get that job. My manager, my direct manager, who was after I realized, like we hung out, I bumped into him a couple times. He was fine, nice guy, but he had to be like he was on my ass because like I was on his team and not doing well. So one time he gave me shit for like. There was the moment I remember I got the email, got accepted, and I faxed back that I signed the contract or whatever with this next company. Sit back down to my desk. My direct boss is like, he's like, Alex, you were gone for 20 minutes. Like, I think he F-bombed me. He's like, what the fuck was that? And I was like, I don't want to say his name, but I was like, hey, can I meet with you like in the back, like in this like separate office? And like, I just sat down. I was like, I'm quitting, and it felt awesome. And I honestly, the second I told him I was quitting, his like mean face, he was like happy. He was like, his like mean face went down, and he was like, okay, so you found another opportunity. You're like, I think he like saw it as like, finally, like get someone in here who's gonna like do a little bit of work. Yeah. So he was like, it's not a competitor, right? I was like, God, no, absolutely not. And he was like, great, dude. He's like, I'm glad you find your footing somewhere else. Like, hey, like I totally understand. Not for you. He brought in the upper, the senior manager's like, oh, you're leaving. That is fine, or whatever. It was not a huge.
You're quitting? No worries. Kieran! Get in here, you little fucking piece of shit.
Kieran,
lick my shoe now.
What the fuck, Kieran? So I actually saw Kieran. Now, I think probably 3 or 4 years later, I'm doing better in Chicago. I'm like, whatever. I'm like going on the road more. I'm really like totally enmeshed into stand up at this point. And I'm doing a spot at the Laugh Factory Saturday night. Guess who I see?
Kieran.
But guess who he's with? The hottest girl in the office. He was dating the girl in the office where we were all like, did you see her today?
Yeah.
Did you see her today? Like where we were all like office parties.
All of those years they called him Kir the queer, and how wrong were they?
How wrong were they? Dude, I'm telling. I see him like she's on his arm, like loving him, obsessed with him.
Really?
How was
your set? You have a good set?
Pretty good set. Kieran hated it. Didn't laugh.
Really?
I was looking at Kieran being like, what do you think? You know, and he was just.
Cocksucker. Did he say hi?
We said hi during.
You said hi.
No, before the show. Before the show,
Bro,
we said
you have
hi.
a history of saying hi to Kieran years after working, and you just decided it timed out. You didn't mention you had a demonstrated history.
I forgot about the M. Night.
A core competency
the M. Night
of saying hello.
My M. Night Shyamalan twist on this whole story. Yeah, I forgot to tell you, dude. We had said hi before. Huge wrinkle in the plot. Huge plot
and
point.
he didn't laugh at your set, so he did resent you.
Possibly.
He's there. He's fucking the hottest girl in the office.
Yes.
He's got nothing to be upset about other than the fact that you leaving created a vortex in which he was overworked, probably to the bone. So, point being, Kieran obviously hates your guts, but he should be enjoying his life.
Kieran hates me. Kieran might hate his life. I don't know. I think
he's doing your set. You haunt him. You haunt him with your bits.
Sure. I have like a
maybe that
8
night,
out of 10 set.
Maybe that you have an 8 out of 10 set.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty good. Not great.
That's a good set.
Solid set.
Okay. So you have a good set. Maybe the hot girl from the office, she's watching.
Yeah.
Hey, he's so tall though.
Oh.
She's talking to Kieran. Hey, babe, I think I might follow him on Instagram. Yes. She's leaving him.
Yeah.
She can't get, wet for him anymore or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. Hard. She can't get hard for him.
She can't get her clit up for him or whatever she's doing.
Right.
So she's ending it with him.
Yeah.
You're like Kieran's final destination, dude. Everything that you do fucks with him. In fact, was your plane delayed?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, that doesn't help my case.
But dude, it was running into. Maybe, that's a good point. So maybe the fact that we did say hi when he had the hot girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
New wrinkle. Forgot to tell you. On the flight, I didn't notice until after. On this flight, new girlfriend. I hope Kieran doesn't hear this now. Still hot.
Not hot.
Not what he was working with back in 2018.
By the way, I'm feeling like kind of like a defensive or apologetic tone from you. Like you think Kieran's going to be listening to this. And I just want to let you know 2 things. 1, he's not.
Right.
And 2, if he is, fuck that guy.
Why fuck Kieran?
Why? It's funnier to just, who cares?
Sure.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Is if Kieran's I mean, honestly, I say he's not going to be listening. We're 20 minutes in. It's actually, okay, let me change it. First of all, Kieran is almost 100%
I'm fine with
listening.
making this the Kieran episode, dude. This is great.
The Kir-pisode.
The Kir-pisode.
Dude, all things holy reside in Kir. I don't know if we got any Severance heads in here, but this is the Kir-pisode.
I bet Kieran's making good money now for sure.
I mean, he based on his girlfriend getting less hot, he's either changed something about himself in terms of like what he's willing to look for, or he's making less money.
Right. Possibly. We don't know. We don't know Kieran.
Can we look him up? Can we look him up on LinkedIn? Just see where he's at, the Kir-pisode?
Yeah, but then it shows it shows I'm looking at his profile. You look him up.
I don't have LinkedIn, brother. Also, my phone's out there charging.
Let me see if I can. Here,
I mean, you know him. Wait, that's the part you're afraid of? We've done 20 minutes on him on a podcast. I mean, you think that's going to make him kind of go looking, stir the pot?
If I look him up,
how does this Kieran guy tick?
I'm gonna show you. By the way, me and his ex, we do follow each other. She weirdly followed me during the pandemic, which was strange.
Oh my God, dude. His ex wants to fuck you.
No.
What do you mean? No.
I don't know.
Mean, no,
she's second from the left.
This is the new one or the old one?
The old one.
All right.
For the Midwest, though. She was
big. That's in Chicago.
She was
10.
big. She was big. I'm telling you, bro.
Sure,
I'm telling you.
What's she? What is this? Oh, that's music.
I liked it, right?
Yeah. All right. So now can we whip him out? By the way, what does Jeff do when you tell a story like this? Is he this is boring?
Here's the problem, dude, is like when I want to talk about anything like this.
Yeah.
So this, let's say ideally this, the Kieran chunk, ideally should have been probably maybe 7 or 8 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I agree. We should have moved on maybe 13 or 14 minutes.
No one's saying that. This is your insecurity talking to yourself. I'm not saying that.
But any like little idiosyncrasy, like kind of slice of life stuff like this Jeff just shoots down and is like, what? What do you mean?
Okay, so here's the thing. This is what I like about you. And this is, I mean, if we have, what is it? It's drag queens is like your segment of the fan base that like roots for you. You're a head case in there. You overthink everything. Everything going on, you give too much thought to. Right. But you got to let the beast shine. You got to unfold all those layers and figure out what's inside.
This is what I'm saying,
It's a lot of cyclical thinking, but within there's some nice little pockets that I like. I like to follow your logic because I'm like, it's like for most people, they just see this guy and not really think about it. But for you, it's like an existential crisis that occupies you for like 2 hours of the flight. And I like to watch the inner workings of that.
And this is, oh, damn, dude. Oh, shit.
What?
I think he started.
Oh, no. Did he try to become a musician?
I'm not looking. I can't.
Oh, he's trying to become a musician. Oh, he's doing covers. Oh, he has 200 Instagram followers.
I think that might be a Finsta. Sorry to cut you off, but like.
Which one is he?
Left.
Okay, that's better.
He's tall guy. He's decently handsome, I think.
Oh, no.
I think he started doing covers.
Oh, he's trying to do music. Oh, 24 likes, 2 shares. Who's sharing that? Just 2 guys making fun of him. That's who's sharing that.
He's a nut.
Everyone's going, no.
It's the Kir-pisode. It's the Kir-pisode. It's the Kir-pisode.
You're like trying to be nice here. Maybe it's because I don't. By the way, I'm going to run into this guy somewhere and he's going to beat the fuck out of me. And I'm going to know him. And he's going to know me as the podcaster that did like talk shit about him. And now I feel mean, actually. This one, 22 likes. Again, 2 shares. Who are these 2 super fans? 4 shares on this one.
Are they comedy songs?
Brother, no.
I don't think so.
No. These are paragraph captions.
That's a breakup. He was down bad. Unless that's.
Oh man. So sorry. I want to give the listeners some context, but basically he's playing covers on Instagram, and in addition to covers, he's writing like pretty self-serious paragraph captions about the covers and about like the history of this song to him. This one says, can I just read it?
I don't think so. I can't.
No, you're right. Dude, let me tell you what. Drago is reining me in, but I would, if it were up to me,
if I didn't know this guy
eviscerate. I know he's just a random guy to me.
The Kir-pisode is going off the rails. But I will say, dude, to cut you off from earlier, you're right, dude. Like slice of life stuff is fun to riff on. It's fun to talk about.
Especially with you because you overthink everything.
Yes, and all Jeff wants to talk about is the federal layoffs and stand-up, which is great. Love stand-up.
You're so resentful over the federal layoffs thing because you lost Patreon.
No, I got got. I mean, my patrons were reasonably, understandably very upset with me. The patrons that stayed, we love you forever. We have to learn. We have to understand.
They got to do better.
The thing about that too that is interesting to me is like it's not interesting to me, but it's like I was wrong about something, and that is kind of the ether. That is what this pod is. I'm like I get stuff wrong all the time.
Right.
I think in this situation, I was wrong about something. I was wrong about something so bad, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And,
but you know what? It's like, so what? Isn't your whole thing on here being dumb? And then you act dumb and everyone's like, you were 2 yourself?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think you're that dumb of a guy, but your thing on this pod is that your character is dumb guy.
Sometimes I really do. Yeah. Especially with Jeff too. Sometimes I do really lean into it. And that you can tell it's facetious. I think the backstory behind it was I was just kind of like Jeff came in with like a hyper political kind of.
By the way,
that's
like
what he wanted.
The reason why you're quote unquote dumb, or I should say, like maybe not well informed on current events,
sure,
is because like you're sitting at the airport gate. And right above you, CNN is playing, and it's like federal layoffs. And you're sitting there with your head down thinking, if I look up, I'm going to have to make eye contact with Kieran. And so you don't get to learn about the news and about things that are going on. And I mean that as like a microcosm of your existence, because you'll say a thing in conversation, and like 3 hours later, this happens with you and me on the road all the time. You're like, yo, I feel so bad because I implied 3 hours ago casually in conversation that we had assumed on something and agreed on something that we didn't agree on. And I'm like, bro, in those 3 hours, I was thinking about different things. I got to think it through like a variety of facts and topics, but you were dwelling.
Like shit, I ruminate, shit eats away at me. But that's why, and that is too why I like to talk about. Damn, it's hard to look at that page, dude. It's hard to look at that page. But that is why I talk about. I like talking about I like talking about a lot of shit, man. And that's why. And again, the minutia of life is really like kind of the good stuff to me. And that's why I want to bring up another thing.
Please.
So this is another thing that I was.
Let the record show we did 25 minutes on the Kir bear.
Hey, Kier, if you listen, here's the thing, man. There is a shot that someone that knows me, that knows that guy, that knows that guy, is like, that knows Kieran. There's a shot.
Yeah, dude. I've done podcasts about my ex-girlfriends before. I know that it gets back to people pretty quickly.
One time I said randomly this, I had a side story, a 30-second side story about my old middle school classmate, Blair.
Yeah.
His friend listened to this pod and he texted me and he was like, yo, I didn't know you had a podcast.
I've always said this about podcasts is no one will listen to them except for the one person you don't want to listen.
Yes.
That is who listens to podcasts. It's never like, I've never gotten a message like, hey, I'm a talent producer from Sony and I heard that pod where you were fucking killing. It's always like, so we hooked up 3 times and you're going to air it out on the pod? Really?
Oh,
we hooked up 3 times and you're really going to bring me up on a pod.
I'm not your ex. Like, no, I just say X because it's
shorthand. That's really humiliating for you. You're talking about me on the pod. That's always, so Kier's going to hear it.
Sure.
And I just want to let him know. Oh, he's probably tuned off after when I said that was the end. We did 25 minutes. I stand corrected. We've done 27 minutes on Kir.
The Kir.
Kir, we love you, man. Good luck with the music stuff. I hope even if, maybe it's not getting a lot of views on the internet, but people enjoy it, or I hope you enjoy doing it. And that's something.
It's just about putting yourself out there, folks.
Sorry about your girlfriend. And I hope, the new slightly uglier one is a good time for you.
I didn't get a good look at her. She's probably very pretty. Who knows?
He doesn't mean that.
Okay.
He 100% got a great look at her. He's just being diplomatic.
So here's something. The next thing I want to talk about. I was. Okay. So there's 2 things. This is a 2-pronged kind of thing. So I had a waiter recently. Like I had an interaction with a waiter where I wanted to say something, like where I wanted to like make a joke about the menu or something like that, or I wanted to make a joke with her. And I held off because I remember one time I dated a girl. I really did. I was dating this girl in college, and we were out, and I was like, I couldn't stop being sarcastic and like making jokes with the waiter, and she was like, "You're making her day like hell. Like I've done this job. Like you can't do this."
So you've been traumatized.
So yes,
through overly riffing with wait staff.
Yes. So I was thinking about this today. So I had this situation with the waiter where I held off, just normal guy, nice. I made my order. Is there anything, and the second part of this is, I'll follow up in a second. The question is there stuff that you did 17, 18, 19 that you can like tangibly say, hard, for sure, concretely say, I grew out of this in my life. So another thing that for an example that I grew out of was like, I grew out of thinking that my music was like cooler than other people's music. Like there was definitely a time you could catch me at 21 when someone being like, what kind of music do you listen to? And me being like, I mean, do you really want to go down that road? You know what I'm saying? Like there was definitely a time in my life.
Why would I tell you that? Just to body you? Is that why you want to know? So you could feel bodied? That's a good idea. That'll end well.
Oh, so you just like you want to take a huge L right now? Yeah. So
I look like an idiot,
right? So I can concretely say I grew out of being like any type of sarcastic or any type of like kind of like a whatever that a sarcastic asshole, whatever that the phrase is to wait staff, or being cute with the wait staff. Grew out of that completely, and I also grew out of my music's cooler than yours. Truly, don't care what you listen to. I don't want you to know what I listen to. I like what I listen to. I'm totally over that. I'm also not. I also don't judge people for what they listen to anymore.
Yeah,
that's what I grew out of. Is anything? Am I like rolling the? Am I spinning your wheels at all?
Yeah. I grew out of. Okay, I used to have principles on like when people should get a tip. I was very cheap about that. I was like,
Oh.
like, you don't get a tip for giving me a coffee. If you make me a latte, you get a tip, but you pour me a cold brew, no tip. Now I'm of the view everyone gets a tip.
Sure.
I think everyone gets a tip. Everyone who you're tipping is poor. You never tip private equity investors. You never tip.
This is legendary.
Everyone for whom tipping is a part of the job is not getting tipped because they did the job. They're getting tipped because if they don't get the tip, they're poor.
Yeah.
And it's our responsibility collectively to make them not poor by tipping them. But as a kid, I used to be like, what deserves a tip?
Yeah.
Which is a hilarious
Yeah.
and entitled and stupid thing to think as an 18-year-old that's never deserved anything in their life.
I never thought about it like that.
And I'd be like, well, who gets you just handed me a bottled water. You don't get a tip. It's like, no, you get a tip because you work at Subway.
Yeah.
Not because the handing of the bottled water wasn't enough work.
Right. The fact that you put on a green shirt today, a green collared shirt,
yeah,
you get it. You get a tip.
You're wearing a visor inside at a mall in Perrysburg, Ohio. You get a tip.
You get a big tip.
You work at Cinnabon. You get a tip. You work at Auntie Annie's. You get a tip.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Your life sucks. You get a tip.
That's a great point. Yeah. That's a fucking great point.
That's one I grew out of. I'm trying to think of
wow, I really like that a
childish
lot.
Shit that I
fuck, dude. That's so true. Yeah. Yeah. Because you go, what did you even? Yeah. What were you doing? Yeah. And I always wonder about like because we have friends in the service and you just be like, yeah, people give people not tipping on $150 meals, and it's like
crazy.
What kind of psycho even thinks like that in any way?
Yeah.
Austin, you ever done service industry? Anyone ever just zero tip you? Were you a bartender?
No, I was a busboy. I just got what I got.
Oh, okay.
Bus
so there was
boy.
no.
Yeah.
No, it was a bad job. But
Bad job.
Yeah, that's nice.
I like to ask the wait staff like comedy clubs like if they know someone's not going to tip or not. Gets pretty racist pretty quickly. Doesn't go down the road you want it to.
You hear black within the first 30 seconds. You're like, I shouldn't have asked the wait staff in Indiana.
Yeah. You're hoping for some more like nuanced answers, like something like, you want to hear something like, oh yeah, like if they're wearing like these kind of design or whatever. It's like, or that you want them to say like it's actually like some of the richer guy, but it's it's always
Chinese. Okay, awesome. I'll be in the green room if you need me.
Yeah, I'll take a soda water with a lime. It's interesting, dude. You're right. Subway, you get a tip.
You get a tip. I'm trying to think like, I do remember one time. The other thing I used to do is I would do a smaller tip for bad service. I've changed that. You get a bigger tip for good service, but you go, I bottom out at 20%.
So let me actually hit you with this because I actually wrote this down. This actually segues perfectly into what I wanted to talk about. I imagine I tipped this guy 20 or 25% at least. But I wanted to tip him less because so I'm doing this show. I go up to the bar Thursday night. It's empty. Bar's empty. Okay. And I go up to the bartender and I go, hey man, can I do like a burger and fries? And he goes, yeah, I just don't know how long it's gonna be. And I was like, I'm looking around. I'm like, oh, is there like a long wait? And he goes, I don't know. I don't work in the kitchen. And I'm like, so like it's like you order something and you're like, imagine if every waiter that ever went up to you was like, what do you guys want today? And you're like, oh, I'll just take the chicken tenders. And they go, I do not know how long that's going to take.
Yeah.
And who
knows? There could be like a short circuit with the stove.
And I was like, so we're just talking about like
what you do and don't know. This guy's just autistic, being like, I cannot accurately tell you the amount of time it will take for you to get that burger.
I just don't know how long it's going to be. And I was like, okay, is it the long line? And he goes, I don't know. I don't work back there. And so he's clearly like kind of being a dick in a way. I go, I go, oh, well, would you mind, like, any chance you could check, like, if there's, like, a lot of tickets in the back, like, a lot of orders? He goes, I mean, I guess. And I was like, okay. And he checks, comes back. He goes, I could be ready in about, like, 5 minutes. And I was like, all right, I'll do a burger and fries.
Just a literal-minded guy, I think.
Yeah,
just a guy being like, I literally don't know how long it's going to... Because usually that's shorthand for, like, it's going to take a while. But I think he meant, like, literally, I just don't know.
That's the thing. It's like, I've been told before in my life.
Were you in a rush?
I've been told before in my life. I've had the wait staff do that where they go, yeah, I just don't know how long it's to take, the surf and turf. It could be, I don't know how long this is going to, whatever that, sometimes a deep dish.
Yeah.
A deep dish can take 45 to an hour and sometimes longer. So they're like, yeah, I just don't know how long it's going to be. That means it's going to take a while.
Right.
This guy, empty bar, just being like, yeah, I just don't know how long,
I guess is so shitty.
And then you're like, I think in my mind, it's just like, did he just not want to put the fucking order in?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what that was. Yeah. I just don't know how long it's going to be.
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I meet people like in all walks of life that just like don't really want to do anything.
Sure.
Period.
Sure.
And that's, I don't know. I went to REI. I was getting my skis mounted, which I understand is, we're already in sort of rich person problems.
Sure.
But I was like telling this lady, I was like, here are my boots. They're my old boots, but you could just fit them to these boots.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, how big are your new boots? And I was like, I don't know, like roughly the same size. And she was like, well, if they're 1 millimeter off, then we can't mount the skis properly. I grew up skiing. Not true. Not even close to true.
Ooh.
You get like 12 inches of
space.
Yeah, because you mount the heel on a fixed location, but then the heel piece moves.
Yeah.
It can adjust. It can only adjust a finite amount. So there is like, you can't mount it for like a size 6 foot and then have a size 12 foot.
Sure.
But I was like, my foot size hasn't changed. So I was like,
yeah, my
new boots are going to be the same size as my old boots. And she was like, well, it's got to be like 1 millimeter. And I was at that weird moment where I was like, I know you're wrong, but I don't know if I have the courage to just look you in the eyes and be like, that's not true. Now do my thing.
Right.
But that's like sometimes where you get down to with people where you're like, regardless of what you're saying right now, I need you to do this. And it is your job just to say yes and take my money.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
So it's kind of awkward because... she gets a tip, by the way. She gets a tip.
She gets a tip. Because also you don't want to you don't want to you don't want to be the dick. Like you don't want to like ruin her. She might be having a tough day or whatever. So you don't know like what they're going through.
Maybe those people think they're helping you out. They're like, I'm going to tell this guy I don't know how long it takes, so that he knows that I don't know.
You want to talk about fucking just a weird interaction with the service industry? You want to talk about go back to Subway? Subway, Champaign, Illinois, 2019. I'm going down there to do some like hell gig on the road. I'm doing 45. I have 14 minutes. Mm-hmm. I'm about to bomb. I pop into a Subway where it's like one of those one of those more country where it's like the Subway is run by like juniors in high school. Mm-hmm. It's like one of those places. And I walk up. Girl's obviously a nice girl, but whatever. We're in the middle of Illinois or whatever, in the corn. And I go up, hey, can I get an Italian BMT? And she goes, sure. What's on it? What's on it? First off, it's behind you. The ingredients are right behind you. And I don't know why she called me on a good day, but I was just like, her friends like fucking like washing shit or whatever, and like, and they're kids. So I'm just like, I think it's like salami. I think it's like ham. I think it's like onion. She's like, okay.
Coming around the counter, throwing on the old Subway visor and the green polo. You get a tip, brother.
Yeah. Can I tip myself? Sure. What's on it? I mean, I was just like, yeah, I think it's like, and then I was like, I think we can like look this up. I'm looking it up. She's like, oh yeah, I'll just like put it in, And then her like her coworker walks around. She's like, sorry, what is it? Oh, Italian BMT. It must have been the girl's like first 2 weeks on the job.
Dude,
first week.
college students be walking themselves into situations that they have no plan to get out of.
Right.
Actually, I have a similar story about that
Yeah.
in Champaign, Illinois.
Champagne, what are you doing to us?
So I was going to Champaign, Illinois
Yeah.
to do stand-up comedy.
Yes.
And this was pretty recently. This was in the spring.
Yeah.
I was doing a theater called I forget what it's called. The Condor Club or some shit like that. It's a big room there. It's like
Yeah.
a 650 seat
Right.
theater. It's like a nice, and the way I did my shows on the last tour is I did a 2-man. So I would work with a host / feature who would
Right.
do 25 up top. And then I would do an hour or an
Yes.
hour 10 maybe. And that would be the show.
Yeah.
And, when we're booking the local host, I was working local because I was do this road trip with my girlfriend. And I was going through a bunch of cities that have like good comedy scenes.
Yes.
I forget where else I was going, but it was like a Midwest run, good clubs, and then this theater and the other clubs. It's like, in the Midwest, everything's so close. There's always a good comic driving from Chicago or somewhere that like
Yes.
where people know. So I was like not worried about the local support. And I was thinking kind of the same thing for Champaign. I was like, they'll probably just get a Chicago comic to drive down and open for me.
Oh.
And I got some email being like, hey, the comic that we have opening for you, they're like pretty green. Just letting you know.
Okay, but they were local guys than this one.
I didn't even look. Like it was like part of the advanced process. It was part of an email with like my hotel info.
Yeah.
And like, the run of show. And I don't really look at this shit because it's all the same usually. So it was like, oh, you're staying at the Marriott. Like,
Right.
you're going to eat from the Subway where they don't know how to make the sandwiches. And then like, you're going to have this local support. And by the way, your host / feature is like pretty new, but should be fine.
Ooh.
But like, here's their tape just in case you want to say no.
Yeah.
So I totally forgot about it.
Yeah.
And then the day of the show, I go to look up where my hotel is and I reread the note where it's like, hey, just warning you, your host is like pretty new. And so I'm with my girlfriend and I'm like, okay, this would be pretty funny. Go click on the tape link that they sent. Let's see what the tape is.
Yeah.
The tape is this person at an open mic.
No.
First of all, I mean, your listeners are pretty well equipped to know how insane that is.
They know
right?
stand up. Yeah. They know
So it's like if you have a booking tape and you've never done a show,
yeah.
that would be like a pretty big red flag.
Sure.
So I'm like, all right, well, maybe they're just like, maybe it's like a fucking 2-3 year old tape. Like
Right.
they just got it forever ago and they don't care because there's like one booker in town.
Yeah.
The tape is from 2 weeks ago.
No. Oh,
And
man.
and the person who's opening for me is young, like
Right.
a college kid. So I'm like, oh, this is a bit of a problem.
Right.
I have their contact. Like I think I have an email for them on the advanced chain. I send them an email immediately. I send my cell phone number. I'm like, hey, give me a call stat.
Whoa.
Because it's a 25-minute set. And this person it's a 4-minute tape from an open mic. Like
yeah.
they didn't even hit 5 in the tape. So I have this person call me. I was like, hey, how's it going? I was like, how long have you been doing stand-up? And they go, 3 months.
No.
And I go, okay. I was like, all right. How many times a week would you say you get up on stage? And they go,
Oh my
I'd say
God.
like once a month.
No way.
I was like, so by the way, there's like, I didn't sell this room out, but there's like at least 300 people in this room.
yeah, that's
So I'm like, so I was like, you done stand up 3 times? And they're like, yeah, like 4 times maybe.
holy fucking shit.
I was like, what's the longest set you've ever done? They were like 4 or 5 minutes, I think. I was like, okay. I was like, you ever hosted a show before? You ever gone on before anyone else? And they were like, no, I've never done that. I was like, okay. I was like, okay, well, obviously, I was like, let me call you back. Hung up the phone. I was like, okay, well, obviously this person's not hosting my show.
right.
That's not happening. I thought about it. I was like, should I call a Chicago person to come down? Then I was thinking like, oh, this is a college kid. They're at the college. They're so excited.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the other thing they said. They were like, I have a few friends coming to the show tonight. I was like, okay, so like I can't boot you off the show.
Can't.
No. And you're a kid, like whatever.
Yeah.
And you can't do more than 5 minutes.
So
How much of the show could you possibly ruin?
Right.
So what I did is I went on first, cold, at my own show.
Yeah.
I did 15 minutes up top. I did the first 5 minutes of my hour that I would usually do. And then like one other bit that I usually closed with that I could decide not to close with.
Wow.
And that was like 7 minutes. And then I did like 6-7 minutes of crowd work or something.
Yeah.
And then I brought up this person.
Wow.
They did 5 minutes. Paid them $400.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
They read off a piece of paper.
How'd they do?
Pretty good.
Let's go.
The crowd rallied. Because I explained, I was like, this person, they're just kind of learning how to do stand-up, but they're one of your classmates. I think they're really funny. I just think they're very new, and so they're going to be nervous, but I think they're really funny. I think they're going to have a great set. I think you guys are going to love them.
Wow.
And I just want you to take all the energy you gave me in the first 15 minutes and then like quadruple it for this person because, you know, if it's not feeling good to them up there, they're just going to be a little maybe nervous up there. And they went up. They had a great set. I would say a little too good for my taste.
No way.
I was like, all right, I get we're all supporting them, but I was like, let's bring them back down to earth. Let's be a little realistic here. I was like, I just did some of my best shit. You didn't give me that. You're gonna give them on a pun about the school. You're gonna give that on a pun about the school.
Dude, local humor, folks.
But then, of course, when I got back on, they were like ready to go because all of a sudden they had sort of suspended their discomfort.
Yeah.
For the purposes of this person.
And that's the openers, man. It's all for a reason. You know, the structure of a show, host, feature, opener, like it's all makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Even like me is like not drawing, dude. Like by the time I get on stage after like 2, 3, or 4 openers and I go do 45 to an hour, it's like when I was doing Minneapolis, like the crowd is just like, they're just like, okay.
Yeah.
This is the fucking
They're
show.
ready for the main event.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
That is, dude, you probably...
I did an hour 20. They did 5 minutes. And I paid them like an opener.
You
that show.
made that. I mean, 400 is like headlining a one night
5-minute spot.
That's a one nighter at a lot of clubs. Like a lot of clubs, like a Thursday.
I said, is this the first paid show you've ever done? Yeah. What's the biggest show you've ever done? They said 15 people in the audience. I was like, okay, there's gonna be like 350 out there.
And this person too, like, dude, you made that person's like college career.
I asked them before they went on. I said, are you nervous? And they were like, really, really nervous. Could you tell? And I was like, no, it would be insane if you weren't.
You were nervous.
I was I was like, the only reason you could possibly not be nervous is if you just were totally unaware of how badly it could go.
I mean, yeah, and if you threw that person out there, like,
I wonder if they stuck with it. Probably killed themselves.
How long ago is this? Yeah, how long ago?
3 months.
Oh yeah.
It was like last spring. It wasn't 3 months. It was like a year ago. But they probably killed themselves since.
Sorry to see you go.
Sorry, Kier.
But we sorry to Kieran. We do got to roll into the Patreon now in a sec.
Roll it to the page.
Do you want to plug anything?
LucasZelnick.com for all my tour dates. If you're in the Midwest, when's this come out?
Next Monday.
Never mind. But LucasZelnick.com for all my tour. No, I'll be in Minneapolis, actually. I'll be in Minneapolis.
Oh, yeah. March
28, 29.
And I'll be there with them, folks.
Oh, yeah. You'll be with me.
The boys.
Yeah. Come see the boys. No fucking comps for the You're an Idiot, folks, though. You got to buy a ticket. Sorry.
Please buy a ticket,
Hot
guys.
ticket. That shit's going to sell out. Hot ticket.
Yeah. We're going to be in a mall for 2 nights. It's just
2 nights in a mall, and then we got
Winnipeg.
1 to 2 shows in Winnipeg.
So,
The Winnipeg show sold out a while ago. We're just trying to add. We're trying to add, but the comedy club says they don't want to pay their staff to work overtime. So I say pay the staff, tip the staff.
Yeah.
Work them overtime.
Tip your staff.
Tip your staff.
Everyone gets food stamps.
Kieran's a pussy.
Kieran.
No chance he made it this far. No, I mean,
Kieran turned it off.
I wonder if Kieran got to minute 35 and he's like, they're not going to call it back at the end of the episode. Are they going to do a callback? No way.
That's been our episode this week. You've been an idiot. Good night and good luck.
Dude, doesn't that rip?
You're an idiot.
No, you're an idiot.